Good afternoon. Here it is Canada Day, and we're busy celebrating. I've got my red outfit on here. And so we're going to be taking, this is the wellness gathering, taking responsibility for our well-being through the principles of the core alignment. And we're focusing on the wonders of movement. So today we're going to have another adventure.
Mhm.
Yay. We have been on an adventure with Dorothy and Toto, and so we're going to start the conversation today. And the question for today is, what is a place you go to that is safe for you? And my name is Lynne. Say your name, say where you are, and answer the question with the first thing that comes up. So my name is Lynne. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, and a place that I go to that is safe for me. Well, I mean, I feel safe in my home. I have different rooms in my home now that my home is a little more spacious with my children not living here. So like my room, I really like I have a couple rooms. I got my bedroom and I've got my treatment room, and both of those are safe for me. But my home is, I feel safe in my home. That's what is safe for me. So how about you, Madeline?
I'm Madeline. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. And safe, it's an interesting word to say safe. So, where do I go to that is safe for me? I would say go to a library. I saw a post not too long ago that said, libraries are one of the last places, public places where you're not expected to spend money. And I really liked that. So safe, not insofar as safe for my safety, but a safe space where nothing is required of me financially or, like some other form. So I'm gonna pick that.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah. How about you, Lorraine?
I'm Lorraine. I'm in Wausau, British Columbia, and a place where I feel safe. Well, I'm like you, Lynn. I think I feel quite safe in my home, and I especially feel safe now that we've moved to Wausau, out in the pine trees. I just did a blog about a year's anniversary on it, and I posted some pictures on it. So I'll email and share the blog with you. It's on Facebook as well.
Awesome. How about you, Olive?
My name's Olive, and today I'm at Walker Lake, Saskatchewan, and I feel quite safe here in my little cabin. I know all the neighbors. We bought this property about 20 years ago, and people just pop in. That it's kind of old Saskatchewan. Uh, I think I've got one neighbor who's an electrician, and he installed the doorbell, so he feels obliged to ring the doorbell every time he comes. But I feel safe here.
That's awesome. Oh, yeah. How about you, Dom Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I live in Sacramento, California. And the place that I feel safe at once I get there is my gym. I have to fight the traffic getting downtown. And then once I get downtown, there's always some homeless people that are around the surrounding areas. So when I get out to walk, I have to be somewhat very nonchalant when I pass by them. But for the most part, once I get inside, I feel safe.
Well, it's interesting to think about this whole, where we go, where we feel safe. And I like what you said, Madeline, around, there's this element of nothing is required. And then there's the element of just feeling comfortable and safe and not worried about anything. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reflecting back on the last 3 conversations that we've had. And our intention for our conversation today is really looking at the beliefs or belief that is driving our guards and our gatekeepers. The belief, there's usually a core belief that is driving my defenses and my protectors. So we want to just recognize what my core limiting belief might be and how to shift it into our motivating belief, because there's usually something fundamental at the core that is limiting, and it's also there to motivate us. So let's just take a moment and think about our conversations from the last 3 weeks, and what are some of the things that you remember saying during some of these conflicts that you've had? We'll have to go back in our memory banks and
Yeah.
fetch those things out. I don't know. How about you, Dawn Marie?
As I'm scrolling here to look back on what I may have said, one of the things that really stands out for me is, whenever I walk into the room, people automatically assume I know what I'm talking about. They either ask me, "Are you the trainer?" or "How long have you been doing this?" or what have you. So I think that when I'm approached with being asked that question, I always want to shrink on the inside, because my insides are saying, you're shy, you don't know, you're still trying to figure it all out.
Mm.
But people think that I know everything, and I don't. I'm still trying to figure it out. So I think my guards are trying to tell me, it's okay to appear to look like you know what you're talking about, but just fake it until you make it.
Got it. Yeah. How about you, Olive?
Well, I think one of the things I said was that I like to deal with things in the moment and not dwell on them and make a mountain out of a molehill. I have to work at that. That's I don't always follow my own advice.
Got it. How about you, Madeline?
Well, I actually have been thinking about this because little things keep percolating in my brain over some of the stuff we've talked about. And I think the part that I hooked into most was that there is a piece of me that is always kind of waiting to respond to somebody else. And that, I mean, that's what happens when you raise kids, and that, you're always having to be on guard, or you're always having to be available, I think is the word. And that I think that is that unconditional portion that I am searching for, that it's not about what's happening on the outside, it's what's happening for me to instigate. So I think that that's what came up. I don't know.
Got it. I got it. Yeah, I got it. How about you, Lorraine?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm not like Dawn Marie that write down all these things. If I did, I threw the pieces of paper out. But I think what I remember how to deal with this is just say in the statement, well, that doesn't really belong to me. It's somebody else's issue. And I've learned to just to kind of separate myself from what actually somebody has said or done. And find that I have to feel comfortable with in myself to not have angst over little things. Today I have to deal with a QR code, and there's that QR codes, and so I'm not sure if I want to further the knowledge about how to run these things, or just say, forget it, I'm just not going to do it.
Got it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to think of these simple little conflicts. I mean, I can hear a similar thing when, particularly around trying different things or having to do things that I haven't done that I'm supposed to do. Like I did a training 2 years ago, and I've been trying to get my way through certifying and doing a report, and all kinds of guards and gatekeepers can come up for me around, I don't want to do this, like, can't they just leave me alone? Even though it was my choice to do it. So it's like, yeah. So when you think of some of these conflicts, what might you have said that would make the other person, other thing, leave you alone? Madeline?
What I might say, well, I think being direct, like Olive was talking about, not thinking about it in terms of the real emotion of it, but just keeping kind of to the facts is a little bit more like I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling triggered. I'm being like vocal about what it is that's happening, as opposed to just being quiet and dealing with it or not dealing with it, whatever, however that is. So I think vocalizing it, I guess, is in a nutshell.
Got it. Yeah. How about you, Olive?
I remember one of the sessions, what I learned from that session was that I have to know when to express an opinion or deal directly with an issue, and I have to know when to just hold back and say, okay, let's let that unfold as it may and see what happens.
Yeah. Gotta know when to hold them.
Yeah, I know when to hold them. Yeah, that stuck with me.
How about you, Domri?
Could you repeat the question?
Well, when you think of those conflicts, what might you have said to get the other person to leave you alone?
Well, one of the traits that I have been practicing on is not feeling like I have to respond right away to a text or a email. So I'm learning to see it, process it, and then respond at a later time. I don't have to respond right at that moment. So I'm really learning to not be so quick to reply to something, give myself some time to process what I want to say and how I want to say it.
Got it. That goes with that being direct and sticking to the facts and knowing when. And then, seeing it, processing it, and then maybe a nice pause, pleasure pause. What about you, Lorraine?
Well, I'm just thinking, just to avoid people being in my face or something, you're saying something, rather than get you spontaneously angry or upset and charged over it, I just sit and be quiet and let it be. Just don't bother me. I'll listen to what you say, but I just don't bother me. I'm learning just to be quiet.
Well, I mean, we've created both the guards and the gatekeepers, right? And usually they're there because there's this core truth about ourselves that someone is getting close to seeing, or I'm feeling more vulnerable, and that I'm not able to kind of pause and really tune in to what's real and true for me. So this is part of this man behind the curtain. And often when we have stressful moments, right, throughout our lives, our guards and gatekeepers show up, and they're doing their job and they're doing it well, right? And so when a conflict arises, they show up again, And when we recognize what they are, you know, we can take a shortcut and we can respond more with what's real and true for us. Like, you know, being direct, you know, saying like, okay, I need some time, or whatever it is. It's like, I'm done. I'm completely done. I've got no more left. I need some time. And and do it in a way that's more resourceful as opposed to more reactive. So tell me how you think that this shortcut and this information that you've learned can help you in the future. Dawn Marie?
For me, I think it will help me to be more clear in my response. Sometimes I may just, feeling like I'm in a hurry that I have to say something, and it's sometimes not the right thing, or maybe it didn't come up the right way I wanted to say it. So I think this is really going to help me to really get my thoughts together and make sure that when I respond, it's responding appropriately.
Yeah. Madeline?
I think that is valuable, because I jump to conclusions that people are seeing the world the way I see it, and that's that's just not true. It's so easy to just assume the whole world sees everything the same way, and so to be really quick to criticize or be, not nice is because you're not giving them any credit for seeing something that you're not seeing. So I think the taking the time is really the valuable part of it, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Olive?
I think the valuable part of it for me is the listening part. Of listening to the whole story before I respond. I've always been guilty of just hearing the first part of the story, or like reading the newspaper, just reading the headline and not getting the rest of the story. So yeah, this has made me slow down, listen to what people have to say, and then form an opinion.
All right.
Yeah, I think that it's been valuable to me too, is listening to what the story is and just accepting there's many different points of view, and we can't change anybody because it's not our job to change anybody. So it's just, once you say, well, it's just a very interesting point of view, it just sort of softens where your views are, and not get tied up in other people's stories or ideas.
Yeah, totally. Well, one more time, let's just go around and share what is your core truth. Lorraine?
What is my core truth?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. I am who I am. Isn't that what Popeye says? I am who I am.
There you go. Awesome.
Or
Yeah.
didn't God say that in the Bible? I am who I am.
Didn't he? Should have.
Olive?
My core truth has always been the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and recognize that that is the basis of every faith in the world.
Dawn Marie?
For me is when I say that I'm going to commit to something, be accountable to my word that I'm going to commit and do what I say that I'm going to do.
Madeline?
Yeah, she's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Didn't hit the button properly. Sorry. Big question. I'm gonna go with the show up. portion of my life. Like to just, my truth is to show up, and particularly when I don't want to or don't feel like I should or could or something, right? So yeah, like forging through all of the perhaps nots.
Yeah, what my core truth is it's never what I think it is. And it's, yeah, how to live by that. So our intention for today is to become aware of our core truths, our limiting beliefs, our gatekeepers, our guards and gatekeepers, because when we're consciously aware of what we're doing and saying, subconsciously, then we can make better and more resourceful decisions. So, what will you take with you from our conversation today that will support you until we talk again? Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me until we talk again, well, is just not, things are just don't have to be as heavy and as crazily important that we all think it is. It's just a moment, and to just get through the moment is much easier if you just look at it like it's just the moment. Yeah.
Olive?
What I will take is the wisdom of the women on my screen. It's when I run into a problem, I often think, what would those women do? What would they tell me to do?
Lorraine?
What I'll take away from this conversation till we talk again is, yeah, just live in the moment and be yourself and allow other people to be themselves. And if you do have a common idea, then that's a comfortable area. And if you don't, you just let it be.
Got it. Dawn Marie?
What I would take away from this until we meet again is recognizing that my gatekeeper is there to help me make the right choice. I just have to hear and obey. And I'm really going to work on that.
Well, what am I going to take away? Well, I don't know. There's just these conversations make me feel this sort of peace and calm in my body. And I don't know if it's because we're just taking the time to ponder on something that's just really fundamentally at the core of, it's like a truth with a capital T, not just a little baby truth. And so I'm going to take away that sense of, well, peace and calm is what it comes up. So what will you take with you that will support you for the rest of your life? Olive?
What will I take that will support me for the rest of my life? I think that I don't need to make a big deal out of most situations. That, like Lorraine said, most things you can just say, let it be. That's going to get you through.
Madeline?
What I will take with me that will support me for the rest of my life, well, having the ability to have things be unconditionally okay. That's, I think, my understanding at this point in time.
Nice. Lorraine?
And what I'll take away will support me the rest of my life. You're quite right. It's just let things be and don't get your gut in it. Pardon me, your gut in a knot. And that's that was an expression I learned when I was working in England. And it's no big deal. You just go out and hug a tree and let it be softened.
Yeah. Dawn Marie?
I love it. I love it. I love this 30 minutes of connecting with you women. I always hear something that just like poof, it's so simple. You just gotta do it. But what I will take away is the fact that this 30 minutes that I get to spend with you ladies is so empowering for me to really stop and think what's important, listening to what people are saying to me, and respond accordingly. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to respond right away, but just to be aware of what I need to do at a particular time. And I'm grateful for this opportunity that I get to learn about it and practice it with you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I take with me is that I was pondering this before we started today because I was looking at the lesson or the notes, and I was, reading through it and just really recognizing how much that each week is like a practice. There's a principle, a process, and a practice. And although I'm not always clear what the principle is, and well, I know what the conversation is, the practice, but sometimes the principle is from this unconscious realm, but the practice ends up happening during the week. And so to me it's like weightlifting for, I don't know, the psyche or the greater good or the mystery, I don't know. It's something far beyond just what we're actually doing here. So I just take away an appreciation for this work and look forward to next week.
Okay.